don't think shit, think pink gators. My Detroit players, Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn. Dead right, if the head right, Biggie there, air night. Papa been school since days are under rules. Never lose, never choose to. Bruise, cruise, who? Do something to us. Talk, go through us. Talk to us, wanna do us, screw us, who us? Yeah, Papa and Pump. Close like Starsky and Hutch, stick to clutch. Yeah, I squeeze 3 at your cherry M3, bang every MC easily. Recently, niggas frontin' ain't saying nothing, so I just speak my peace, keep my peace. Cubans with the Jesus peace, with my peace. Packing, asking who want it, you got it, nigga flaunt it. That Brooklyn bullshit, we on it.
Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. Guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake. Biggie, 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 can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me, and I just love your flashy ways. Guess that's why they're broken, you're so fake.
I put O's in NY onto DKNY. Miami, DC, prefer Versace. All Philly hoes know it's Moschino. Every cutie with the booty, boy, the coochie. Now who's the real dookie? Meaning who's really the shit? Them niggas ride dicks. Frank White push the stick called the Lexus LX 4.5. Bulletproof glass tips if I want some ass. Gon' blast sweet first. Ask questions last. That's how most of these so-called gangsters pass. At last, a nigga rapping about drunk and broad, chicks and broad, menage a trois, sex and expensive cars.
Whoa. A little different energy coming on today. What's this all about, you may ask? First of all, namaste, fellow waves. We are one. I just pulled up on a lady on the way here who was just ripping that tune, just vibing in her car, just singing it word for word. And we pull up next to each other at the red light. And I'm just like, she rolls her window down. She's like, you just made my day. I'm like, girl, you're making my day. Just keep vibing, baby. Woo. It's not my jam, but it's my jam. You know what I'm saying? So that was great. And we got our boy, somebody like you, Ben Myers, in the house. Here he comes. Brother.
I love the vibes. Give me some Biggie for show. The East Coast. Give me that.
I didn't expect that, but I'll go with it. How are you, brother?
I came in. I don't know if you could see me in the way. I was just sitting there, I'm like, I felt I was in a vibe, dude. I was caught in a vibe. I'm doing good, man. How about you? How's life? What's going on?
Just placed myself in my own dream, and I'm just dreaming, having fun. And that's what's up with me. Just vibing.
That's it, man. That's it. I have been caught on a loop of an upcoming episode we're going to be releasing of the power of visualization and being in your dream that I'm very excited to play with myself. I don't know. I'm in the process of already making that happen, but it was like this, like, hello, Brendan. Hello, Erica. So good to see you. It was this beautiful, like, trail of treats that I'm like, oh, this is the next step of the visualization kind of stuff, because that was brought into my awareness through an absolute beauty of a soul that I was never expecting to be blessed with. Hear this story. So, but that's the next, that's down the low. That's down the road. Dana, welcome in, my friend.
Wasn't that sick though, dude?
Dude, I knew I was on to something, or something good was going to happen, because you add this little like he right at the end of your email, and you're like, oh, enjoy ... he, and I was like, what? I was like, I didn't even know there was a podcast coming up. And when I saw the he, I was like, oh, this is going to be a doozy. And it was, dude. Insane.
Exactly. You picked up what I was putting down, brother. Yeah, you picked up what I was putting down. Okay, let me just get this freaking Instagram's going haywire on us. Try to get this link back up. But welcome in, everybody. See if that works. Brendan Zen is in the house. Namaste, brother. Nice to see you commenting. I know you've been hanging out in the weeds a little bit. Erica Lovely. Namaste, girl. Dana, hello, fellow wave, says Corey Cooper. We are one, fellow. Shari Soulflow's in the house, of course. Happy Sunday, everyone, she says. Loving it. Loving the peeps being here. What's everybody? I guess this is the holiday weekend for the Yankees, so I guess we may not be streaming tomorrow, but what's everybody doing for their holiday weekend down there, if you are celebrating it? I always kind of don't even know that they're holidays.
Well, it's weird because it's Memorial Day weekend, so it's like trying to remember the service members that lost their lives fighting for our country and stuff like that. So a lot of people get caught up in it's a drinking weekend, it's a beach weekend and stuff like that. All good, you know, it's as long as, you know, you take those moments. But as for me, um, it's a rainy, cold, it's dumping over here. So it's kind of been business as normal, lazy, quiet, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
He's okay with it. Did you have any military members in your family?
My grandfather was in the Air Force. Yeah. Yeah, he played baseball in the Air Force.
Very nice.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good old Sonny.
Baseball in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Was he like, what was his role actually in the Air Force?
You know, so I don't know what it's called, but he used to sit in like, there used to be like this bubble underneath the plane. And that's where he would sit. I don't know what he would do, but he used to say it was always the best view in the house. You got to sit in this little bubble and just like look down. So he wasn't like in the plane. He was just like, it's crazy. But yeah, I don't know.
Is that like the bubble where they like are like the little gunner person? Like,
I don't know if he was the gunner though. He never talked about being a gunner, so I don't know. But yeah, he said he used to sit there, and I don't know if he was ever in active duty. But I got like pins and all these cool stuff from him, like being in Germany. He was like in a dart league in Germany, so I got this cool like dart pin from Germany and stuff like that. Yeah, it's cool.
Damn.
Yeah.
Who was I was talking to somebody, I think today, I think somebody at the hospital. I mean, he was an older folk, or we're talking about how like, man, we're so fortunate to just be dealing with like COVID and pandemics and stuff and not have to deal with war.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I think what's weird about it is like, well, we have been for,
I guess it's
20 some years, but it's one of those things that's kind of like, I don't know. It's not like a world war.
Yeah.
So it's weird, but like we've had active military members losing their lives for 20 years over oil or something. So
and stuff. I guess that's what I'm talking about. Like not some like, you know, empire versus the resistance or rebellion in Star Wars. You know, there hasn't been that kind of existential threat, which is fortunate for us, but it's not the same thing for other people out there. Definitely not.
Yeah. Yeah. But thank you to all the service members. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your morals and putting your life on the line and the duty to your country and all of that. So if anybody has family members or is in, whether it be in the States or anywhere, I just want to say thank you, because that's what this weekend is about.
Sorry, Soul Flow's working a half day. Dana, we're just talking about, just how we just are fortunate not to be in some kind of like world war. But I mean, and then I see, you know, videos about, you know, this, obviously, hopefully there's this peace deal, whatever the hell it is, who cares at the end of the day. But if they were going to like do a draft in 2026, I think that would have been like, you know, we've heard about Vietnam and that whole, the hippie movement, and we're not going to war, and Muhammad Ali saying no and all that. But you imagine that in 2026 with the consciousness level raising, I feel like it would have been a mass mutiny.
I agree. I think you would have seen a civil war happen before it would have went overseas.
I couldn't agree more with that. I couldn't agree. And here's Dana making the point, we've been in combat with someone for every year of our existence.
It's insane. Yeah, but enough good things about the States. But what if you said it's not a holiday weekend up there, so what have you, I know a little bit of what you've been getting into. How's everything going? If you want to open up about it, or if you just want to talk about kind of what's going on in your world and what you're excited about. And
Mom just wants me to be not totally open window about everything in our lives, so she just tells me to take a chill. I just shared in my community, in the WhatsApp community, what I was up to this weekend. But you know, things happen. Meat Monkey spacesuits are breaking down in different ways, and you know, just being a part of that. It's every single moment has something to teach. So that's what I've just been leaning to. There's always a moment happening. I feel the least tethered I've ever been in my life to anything. So that's fun. There's nothing to really, but that's the thing. There's nobody here to celebrate it. And that's the kicker. That's what makes it so awesome. Is there used to be like, oh, new level up in the path, or hockey, and got to the next level, or I got this and I got that. And now it's just like, there's nobody to celebrate it. And it's awesome.
You just are it.
Just it. There's nothing to celebrate. Something would negate the itness. So it's just every moment's a celebration. Why live a life of when you could celebrate like certain days? Why not just celebrate every damn moment, folks? That's what I'm all about.
You heard of down with the sickness, you're down with the itness.
I am down with the itness, the isness, the dream, whatever you want to call it. It just keeps sucking me up like a vacuum cleaner.
Dude, I'll tell you what, and it's it comes through, and the things we're working on just in like to help others in this community and stuff like that. It's wild what it pulls from you, and you realize like it's never been anywhere else but inside of you and outside. It's just been there. It's just tuning into that radio station and realizing like you have access to it. You have access to that awareness, and it doesn't. Sometimes we feel like an imposter when, like you said, there's no one to celebrate it. Sometimes when we do go to celebrate, we feel like an imposter, like, well, I can't be doing it right. This can't be good enough. This can't be whatever. And I think that's just along the way is remembering like you're not an imposter anywhere you go. Like this is everything that's unfolding, showing up in this community, helping others. Like this was always inside of you. Everybody, like, which is, I think it's really cool. And on the days that it's hard, it's remembering like that's inside of you too. It's nothing to be ashamed of. You're allowed to have hard days. It's allowed to be difficult. Just let's do our best not to judge ourselves through it.
How about you though, brother? What's your weekend? What are you tapping into? What are you feeling into? Where are you at?
A lot of reflection, a lot of allowing myself to be and just watching it. I've developed a new journaling technique that I'm kind of just navigating. Once again, it's the Meat Monkey spacesuit that's just kind of playing games and to better understand itself and understanding like it's a game. It's kind of fun. So I'm learning like each day I have a different intention for 5 days out of the week. So like Monday is like truth, Tuesday is purpose, Wednesday is relationships, Thursday's intuition, and I forget what Friday is off the top of my head, or it's in some sort of, and I have like prompting questions. And I started with AI a little bit, and now what I think I'm going to do is, it was a great starter. I'm just going to start doing a little bit more myself, and you get beyond the level of consciousness that AI is. I want to say beyond. You just operate at a little different level than it. So I feel like it's trying to ask me really basic questions. I'm like, you don't know what I'm trying to say and do, but thank you for giving me the structure. But I'm using it as data points. So as I go and I'm working towards certain mindsets, certain feelings, certain goals, certain relationships, certain whatever, I'm just creating data points that allow me to be very intentional with my day, intentional with my reflections, intentional with my thoughts, my emotions, and things like that. And then I can go back at the end of each week and review the week. So I can see what was true, what was an emotional reaction, what was kind of just made up in my head, and all of those things. So that's kind of what I've been up to and kind of been doing. But I could go on for hours about the course and community, but that's
I just think it's funny how he's building a course that seems to be a bunch of prompts that are very strategically placed and done, and he's now prompting himself to give himself little pokes and reflections. So funny how that works.
It is funny, man. It's cool, right? Because I think, right, we're about that life, and that's why like I want to ask anybody in like the chat, like what are they doing that's kind of helping them? I know the gratitude streaks in the WhatsApp community is huge. I love that. And that in there. So I was wondering if like anybody in the community has something that like they've been kind of playing around with, whether it be on spiritual development or personal development, whatever it may be, whatever words we want to use. But I'm always so interested to see the little games people are playing with themselves along the journey, because I think everyone's story is worth telling. Anything for you?
I love how you're just like, we're about that life.
Dude.
It's so casual, but it was so smooth. It was just like, yeah, we are. We are about that life. That's what we do. No, dude, that was beautiful. For me, it's really about subtraction now. I jump on my phone and work on the phone throughout the day, posting stories, and on my main accounts, it's pretty much the explore page is pretty much like dragons and shit and dinosaurs right now. But that's just because I go on there and repost the stories to my main account, or I do my stories and like a dragon thing comes up and I'm like, ooh, and I look at that for a second. So that's how that explore page is. The fight playing explore page is all obviously like fights and hockey fights and stuff. But then the collective memoria page has become become what my actual algorithm usually would be on my main page, because that's where all the spiritual stuff is. So if I go on there, that's when a spiritual thing will pop up and I'll read it, whatever. But I need to like stop reading them, because I do not need more data. I do not need more prompts. I do not need more games for the phantom ego to play. It wants to play. It'll play forever, and I'll just keep being born again unconsciously, whatever. It's not a problem, but it's just like, for what's coming through for me is that I got to like negate. So that's why I have my one document that on the drive down, I listened to the whole thing, hour and 4 minutes, and then I was in silence after that. On the way up, I listened to it, silence after that. A couple phone calls randomly come in. So it's all about just staying with that one document, having the discipline then to not go to anything else. And in place of that, just literally sit in silence. Like every spare moment that I'm not eating fruit, working out, working on offerings, be mindful doing those things as well, watching the self do these things, the ego self. But in between all that, just being in the silence, that is where I'm being vacuumed into. So that's I love how simple it's gotten, but the mind wants to make it more complicated than it is.
I'm right there with you. It sounds like Corey's on the same page with you too. Corey said, I'm trying to create more distance with things that seem to absorb or redirect my energy in ways that aren't feeling aligned. Even because what's interesting when it comes to social media, you can trick yourself to be like, oh, well, so if I'm helping somebody, I talk to them like, hey, if getting off your phone's difficult right now, let's just change what we're looking at, right? Like let's at least make it filtered towards whatever. And the next step will then be slowly taking ourselves off. But I'm with Corey on this one too. I'm going to celebrate Corey for a second. That level of awareness, like that's intentional, right? Like sometimes we don't know how far, like we always feel like this sense of lack. Sometimes, I'm not saying Corey, you do, but I'm saying like sometimes like we're always, we have to be working towards something because we're not enough. We're not this. Like this is like the game of like that level of intention. I'm just trying to like, listen to that sense. I'm trying to create more distance with things that seem to absorb or redirect my energy in ways that aren't feeling aligned. I feel like I wrote that. like I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit, dude, that is so intentional. I just wanted to celebrate you for a minute, brother. That is awesome. If you're interested, man, write some things you're doing that helps create that space, or just your awareness. Or if you're just starting out, be like, Ben, you can fuck off. It doesn't matter.
The unisex name got you again. No, it's no problem though. Just so you know,
my fault.
No, you don't need to apologize when you don't fucking know. It's good, brother. It's good. It's all
Corey,
good.
that's my bad.
It's all
my
good.
friend.
But that was a great pointing out, a great focus on celebrating that, of being that intentional. I mean, that's literally what it's about. We think we have to be so disciplined and like regimented because that's what we're taught in society. Masculine, yang, go, David Goggins, fight through the pain. It's like, it's truly not the way. You'll do that and you'll exhaust yourself doing it, and it'll get you to the clarity. Ultimately, what we're seeking is just the clarity and understanding. And that's why Rupert Spear and these teachers say clarity comes before courage. A lot of us like to think it's courage in the movies and the Disney prince or fights for the princess or whatever. It's like courage. It's like, no, it's clarity. Understanding that you're seeing now, Corey, that the gap between where you want to be and where you are is getting so friction filled that you're just like, I can't take it anymore. And when the pain of staying the same is worse than the pain of change, as Tony Robbins says, you're like, I'm going to be intentional about my time. And that's really how this works. And that's what Brendan Zen goes through. That's what I've been through with the food, the stuff I'm going to talk about in my book. It's data collection. It is not failure. It is not a step back. It is data collection. That gap is widening between you doing a behavior and realizing it doesn't bring you what you want. And you got to go around that spin cycle, the definition of insanity, how many times until you go, I've had enough, and you get off the spin cycle. So you're building that clarity, Corey Cooper.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, Dana. So I thought it was Ross the Boss's
That's Sherzy's nephew.
Come on.
Here, go into Erica's here first because she was talking about your journaling prompts.
Oh, Erica, lovely. Love the structure, Ben. I've practiced lately just sitting in silence, sitting with my thoughts and the emotions that rise. Reflecting on why I get certain reactions or flashbacks and grounding myself in the present. And a bit of what Corey Cooper mentioned. That's, once again, man, that is, I'm not going to say next level shit, right? But that's just level of intentions that beyond this world of disassociation, like that's hard. Oh, that's hard. That's difficult, right? If you're not used to doing that, like sitting in silence, being the observer of the flashbacks and then being the observer of why, where are they coming from, where are they rooted from? And then I just through seeing Erica's content and who she is, like she shows up with such a level of joy, and that's probably not by accident. I think there's this is me assuming and me just pointing that out. There's a deep level of understanding that you worked incredibly hard to get to, that it doesn't mean it's easy all of the time. It means that that level of reflection, that level of intention, that level of peace, joy, and presence shines through more often, and you can sit in that because of stuff exactly like this, celebrating the shit out of you, Erica Lovely.
And Erica Lovely has been on, I think, since the day she started meditating in our streaks. It's been 15 days straight in a row. So that's just cold turkey right into, unless you were doing it on your own, but you're logging it 14 days in a row or 15 days in a row. That's amazing. And that segues into Shari, who's been doing the same thing ever since she came in. She goes, I've been diving into more meditation and working hard to be more aware of moments and what I'm attracting, and then looking deeper into why. That's it. I'm always going to celebrate that when we are diving into our meditation. Amen, Shari. And that was such a beautiful story you had over the weekend, or interaction with Lorianne, where Lorianne was going through a tough time, cried it out, was feeling better. And that kind of reflection that happened there, I think that's what it was. You had your car breakdown, Shari. And instead of being like, oh, this, and I'm going to miss this, or I'm going to be late to this, you just went, oh, I have time to just meditate now. Like, what a reframe to take those shitty situations that used to just bother us in life. Like, I can't tell you how many, like, I was the guy that if I spilled a glass or dropped the milk or something, I just like scream like, oh, you're such a fucking idiot. You fucking like, or something like my car broke down. I'm like, oh my God, ruins my plans. I was going to do this and this. It's like, when that starts to shift, to just be like, oh yeah, right. Everything's for me. I can just meditate. Like, that weight came off me more and more. That's starting to make those realizations. It was so beautiful. So Shari, I resonated with your share a lot. And then you helped Lorianne, you helped me, they helped you. It just, that's how this group works. She says, also, I've also been looking at my patterns and how I can do things differently to create changes. Shari has been, Shari, since the day you came into the community, you've posted like 4 or 5 messages a day interacting. You're offering, Ben, have you known about her Reiki meditations we've been having, had streams? Yeah, like she's been offering, holding space for people. It's freaking incredible.
Rock stars, man. Like absolute rock stars.
And she's already brought in like, I think 3 or 4 other fellow waves that were like, hey, I joined because of Shari. And we're like, holy shit. It's crazy.
That's the power of community, right? I always have thought about this as whether it be a content creator, a coach, or what, just, being a pillar of the community. It's not the people that talk into it. Like, it's not you, it's not me. It's the space gets created. And then the pillars are everybody that comes in, builds a community, then builds the trust to bring in other loving people that are looking to go through the same thing. And then that's just we talk about foundations, and that's how like community is built. That's how self-development, spiritual evolvement, or whatever you want to call it, is built. It's that type of stuff. It's really, at the end of the day, it's a relationship with your body, your awareness, and your everything. And so what a community, man. I'm proud of every single one of you. So if you're here or not, oh my God.
And this is exactly how the locker room community for the course is going to get built out. Is just the same thing's going to happen. It's going to be a different flavor, a different, group of people. We're really dressing up the spiritual principles in athlete language, but it's going to be the same thing. It's going to be beautiful to see how that happens and how many folks from here want to dive into that as well and be a part of that community. It's going to be a different kind of it's going to be a lot more intense. Obviously, this is a much wide open. We just meet everything where it's at. Where that one's going to have some structure to it more so, but it's going to be very interesting. Erica, I'm also leaving my phone in other rooms, which I find so nice. I didn't realize how much urgency I had to check it until now. Like I prepared a horrible phone call, which is trauma response. Like prepared for a horrible phone call. So true. So true. It's just a different ball game when you like go out for a walk in the woods without your phone. Like you just know you don't have your phone.
That's so true. I don't know if anybody else feels this way. Like depending on a time of day and who calls, your mind goes right to the worst case scenarios, whether it be a text message or like whatever it is. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Erica. Oh my gosh.
Brendan's loving it. Thank you, Shari Soulflow. Thank you. I've been there with the frustrations. Haven't we all? That's the only reason we're not there with them anymore at times. It is because of this community inspires me to want to support and be supported. That's it. My mind lately just keeps going, just keeps vacuuming up. That's the Osho clip where he's just like, the more you give, the more you get. It's like it comes back 11-fold, 12-fold. Like it's so crazy how we think it's the opposite. We always have to, my precious, hoard my resources, make sure I have what's mine and more than that person. It's like literally like shirt off your back. There's a reason Jesus said that. Shirt off your back if someone needs it. Just give and watch what comes back your way. That's really coming up a lot for me right now. It's just a matter of having the discernment and not being the one that's choosing when that happens and letting it just happen. Like not seeing the homeless guy that has the same name as me and being like, let's see if he wants the help. No, he'll let me know. The life will inform itself. I don't have to worry about that.
That is such a powerful lesson. Whenever I was like coming up, and I knew, like I said, in third grade, I just wanted to grow up and help people, whatever that looked like. I kind of took on this duty that I'm like, I have to go and find people to help. Like, but as I've, been at this for years now, what I've learned is it's not my job to go out and find people. It's my job to be the help and have the space available for people to find. Like we're all just magnets to experiences, to thoughts, to all of the things. And because then I'd get there and I'd get frustrated when someone didn't want the help. I'm like, it was from this high and holy place of like, well, then what the fuck am I doing here? Like I came here and then like it came with like through years of experience and then working and understanding it's your job to offer and be present and hold space. And then if you can't make people's decisions for them, and that's sometimes the hardest part, is especially when it's with people you love and you care for, and you realize like I have offered all I can offer without being forceful and making them do something they don't want to do. And at what point does it become about me being selfish helping? And there's a lot worse things in the world, but it becomes a game of selfishness, just thinking you know better than they do for their journey.
Oh man, my mom's starting to see that. We had a conversation the other day, and she's just kind of like, it's kind of disheartening to like start to realize anything you've ever done is only to appease this thing that supposedly doesn't exist, because she's kind of not there yet with it. She's like literally everything is so for me if I'm not being conscious about it. I'm like, yeah, because you're living in a meat monkey spacesuit that's its job. If it doesn't constantly think about you and your survival, it thinks you're going to die, which a lot of us would. But this guy named, so there's Jiddu Krishnamurti. He's the more famous known guy, the guy who was picked by this order of people to be the next Buddha, basically. And he was like, yeah, no. He waited to tell them until he became the head of the organization. Then he dismantled the whole thing because he said that one man's truth can never be another man's truth. So there's no point of being a whole organization around him. He dissolved it, sold everything, gave it all away. But there's this other guy named U.G. Krishnamurti, and they actually knew each other. And they had a very interesting relationship of liking each other and not liking each other. But U.G. is basically like the most hardcore non-guru, because he's like, there is no guru, why would you ever call me one? Like hardest non-guru. And he literally talks about like, oh my god, did I just lose my train of thought in explaining that? No, what was the point you were just making? God damn.
If it's meant to come back, it will find its way back.
Yeah. So, there's something in you said that triggered the thought of him. But anyway, oh, got it. Yes, I got it back again. My mom was talking about how everybody is so selfish, and he's like, the self is this like illusory thing. So this is the ego, and he's like, the only thing he cares about is I love this word for it, the fascist insistence of its own survival. It's the only thing it cares about, that it continues by any way, shape, or form. And it really helps me understand why there are fascists in the world, because that's literally what they're doing. They're just scared little boys or girls in older people's bodies that are believing they're the meat monkey spacesuit, and it's just keeping you alive with this fascist selfishness. And that's what you see in the world, is people acting that out. So my mom's come to the realization of like, everything I do, if I don't work at this right now and I'm intentional, is about me. I don't go to the party not to show up and be love and lighting. It's like, I don't go because I'm nervous of what people think about me. It's always about me. I'm like, yes. And the freedom is seeing through this.
You know what's interesting? So we'll put that right into like what I was talking about. When I identified as my purpose of being here, my identity is to help, it was a threat to my identity and purpose when someone wouldn't want it. So what would happen? I went into survival. I went into, like, because it's my identity. Once again, people's identity can be money, can be greed, can be materials, can be whatever it is, sex, all, whatever it is. So no matter how you dress it up and how noble you think the mission is, remember, that is not who you are and what you are. That is what you are presenting as. And so anything that threatens it is threatening a smoke and mirror. We've just believed it. So once again, all high and mighty, being like, I'm here to help people, this and that, but how dare you not want my help? It never got to that point, but it would be like one of those things. Then you realize it's like, I have so much more space when I can just let the flow of, oh, well, I'll be here if you need me in the future. And if not, when things line up. And yeah. Talk about squirrel brain. You want to see the coolest thing my mom got me while she was at a cool, like, once again, random acts of kindness.
What?
It's a little Buddha.
Oh, he's a chunky monkey. He's
Dude.
a little like Shrek Buddha.
Dude, it's so cool. Can you get closer? I have to zoom it in, but I've been sitting here just like rubbing his head but you were talking about the Buddha and all that kind of stuff. Shrek. Oh, that's so funny. But yeah.
Great. I love what you said there too. We're protecting something that's not there. That's like in my document. It's like, you're literally scared of losing something that never existed. Oh God, that is such a hit to the ego. Is just like, no, I'm real. It's like, no, you're not. Shari Soulflow, and this is the most love and light community ever. My heart can feel it so much and wants to belong. Oh my goodness, you don't even have to do nothing to belong. That's how much you belong, girl. Dana, it's kind of like the WhatsApp community is the dressing. Sometimes serious talk, sometimes just bullshitting around every room subject on the table. But the stream is like the practice where we kind of work on the drills, maybe a tough analogy. No, I love that, Dana. I love that. The community is where we stoke the fire. We have those kind of shares in passing through the day. But yeah, the stream is where we get on and we focus in a little bit. It gets a little more intense. Like when it's like sitting around the fire at night, right? That's what human beings have done forever. You went out, you tried to find food, you cooked it. You hopefully just could sit around the fire at night and just stare at the stars and talk about, what is thunder? I mean, it makes sense. It would be a god. What other thing could make that freaking loud ass noise that scares bears into the woods? Like, yeah, that must be gods. And they just sit around and talk. That's how people bonded.
What's so interesting is, like, you talk about that being in the community and it's kind of like the practice and the drills. I have an interesting perspective of the community is the expression of the drills. Like, the community is the finished product. Like, you're like, that's where sometimes it's like, oh no, I'm working on these things and stuff like that. I often think like, no, by being in the community, you are the things. Like, by simply arriving, you've shown yourself like, I am the things. Once again, we get sometimes caught up in this, everything's going to be so lovely, it's going to be so perfect, happiness, joy. It's, no, you've surrounded yourself. Like, that is what you've worked your entire life to be surrounded by, is that. That's wild. I'm not shitting, Dean. I'm not shitting on your analogy, but
No, it's great.
it came through, and I was like, no, like the sense of community is it.
Literally
It's
is
what-
it. He goes, our WhatsApp is the cave drawings. That's great. I love that. That's
Yes.
funny. That is so good. That's a good. You just tied that one up there, Dana. But look, this is what I said on my story last week. I knew this was going to happen when somebody like you, Ben Meyer, started coming in the stream. It was going to be like, when's Ben back? And Ben Laguerre last week was like, when's Ben coming back on? And everybody's like, Sunday. So we knew this was going to happen.
Oh, I appreciate that love, Ben. So good to share a name and share space with you, my friend. Thank you, everyone, for always being so welcoming. Like, I look forward to this every single week, 2 times a week, and that's why when it started out, it was like just like 45 minutes. I was like, it's gonna be longer because I don't shut the fuck up.
Nope, you don't. we can't help it. We got a Mr. Matt Stoppy. Namaste, Mr. Matt Stompy. We are one. He says, love from Brooklyn, man. Wanted you to play with Simmer in Toronto so bad. Dude, I would have loved to play with Wayne Simmons in Toronto. So, Ben, Wayne, oh, no, you know Wayne Simmons from Philly.
One of my favorite Flyers of all time.
Dude, he's literally like world-class guy off the ice. Like, would practice fighting with me where some guys fighters were like, that's lame. Like, I don't do that. And he's like, fuck yeah, let's go. And we were pulling each other around, which is just nuts because he's one of those guys, I think, that like I pulled him around in that practice fight. He was only played at like 190 pounds. Like, he was so skinny, dude. But he would fight guys that are 230 and tune them up. If it was a real fight, it's a completely different story. But he was so cool. And I told that story about being up at the cottage with them. And I was like so high on edibles. It's the end of the night. I was tired from being waterboarded, trying to get up on this wakeboard the whole freaking day. And I'm just sitting there literally like this, and I'm just tired, and I keep going in and out of consciousness, and I'm like, stay awake, motherfucker. They're talking about cool shit. You're literally in the Leafs locker room right now. You get to like be a part of this. And then Simmer was literally like this in his chair, just snoozing. We thought he was gone. And then somebody was just like out of nowhere, the conversation died down of seriousness. They're talking about TV shows, and they're just like, Simmer, fucking TV shows you watch. And it was just like quiet. It's just like, gangster shit, and it's just still lives rent-free in my head. He's just like, there's Simmer at the rink, he's so professional and great guy, but then that happened, and it was just like, God, he knew how to read a room, and just the comedic timing of it. It was just like a bunch of white hockey dudes sitting up at a rich $10 million cottage in Muskoka, and when our one black dude says that, it was fucking unbelievable.
Dude, oh my God, yes, Simmer, man, him and Scotty Hartnell, those two together, it was like our version of the Broad Street Bullies. And I'm telling you, like, Simmons is like one of my favorite Flyers of all time. I absolutely loved watching Wayne Simmons play hockey.
He was one of those guys that like his best years, he was on like a $5 million contract when he should have been getting paid like 7 or 8. And then when he kind of got past his prime and he tried to cash in, it just kind of was shitty timing. I kind of wish somebody just threw like a bag of 30 million at him just for what he did and how impactful he was in the league. But hey, it's just the timing of things. I think he's doing all right. He's living in Aurora. He's got like 2 baby girls. Last time I was aware, he's doing well.
I thought I was seeing him still doing a bunch of community work in Philly. I think he'll pop up on my Instagram and stuff of like work he's doing in Philly.
Probably moved back there or has a house there because he does the community stuff, Flyers. Yeah, true.
Yeah, like it's just that kind of stuff, guys. That like I think you're doing it too, like hockey for the homeless, like guys from the sport that's still like, well, for what's it? That's in Shoresy. It's from the community and for the community. Like it's just part of like I think it's really a lot of professional sports, but like DNA, it's in your guys' culture, like to get back to the community and like seeing guys that like I loved watching still come back years and years after they played for us. Like, dude, he's having such an impact on like the younger fans and stuff like that. And it's just always so cool to see, man.
It's pretty. There's a guy I played with in junior who was drafted by the Penguins, also a fellow African brother, and he is doing the same thing with the Pittsburgh Penguins. So you got 2 guys like that down there in Pennsylvania doing good work off the ice. Oh, yeah. We got Anthony, Rocker Anthony in TikTok. What's up, brother? Namaste. We are one. He goes, bro, thoughts on the Marlies advancing to the conference finals? Honestly, man, I don't follow hockey too much. I'm definitely not following the AHL that much. Good on the Marlies for moving on to the conference finals. They beat Laval, so that's at least somewhere the Leafs are beating the Habs organization because it's not going to happen in the NHL anytime soon. Blue Belton, namaste, brother. Blue Belton. He says, Curtis, who's winning the cup? So that's a great discussion we got to get into. I mean, I know our community was saying that the Hurricanes were just going to stomp the Canadians, and I was just like, there's no way. People are saying Canes in 5, Canes in 6. I was just like, there's no way. So, and I went Montreal in 7. Obviously, Montreal beat the wheels off them in game 1. Actually surprised Carolina, battled back in game 2. I thought that Montreal was going to go 2-0. But Montreal just has a bit of everything, and they're battle tested from 2 7-game series, and the easy walk through the first 2 rounds for Carolina. And they've always been a team that when the going gets the toughest in the second season, that is the playoffs, they shrink away. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in game 3. But I personally, the way it's going, I just do not want to see the Vegas Dark Knights win. That would just, that's my ego saying that. No. On the other side, the ego wants Burnsy to win. But if I had to say I think Montreal could actually win this freaking thing. There's a lot of things happening in parallels from the last time they won the cup. What do you think, Ben?
So I got a question for you before we get there. You talked about the different paths of where they are to get to the conference finals, right? Having 2 7-game series in the playoffs, do you think they run out of gas? Because that's a lot of physicality, a lot of miles on the skates. But especially with the Hurricanes being able to not steal game 2, but Rod Brindamore, I think, had a great call. He's like, "No, we're not practicing. Like, we're good." Like I think it was cool, but I'm curious just from like a player standpoint. Would you rather have 2 game 7s, or would you trust your squad to be able to get the momentum back on and stay healthy?
1,000% 2 game 7s, and I think Montreal is young and full of piss and vinegar and passion that it is just working perfect for them. Lane Hudson's so young, Demidov, Suzuki, all these guys, Slavkovsky, they're all so young. They don't care. They'll play 10-game series. They don't give a shit. Let's go. So I think it definitely benefits them. I really do. I think any hockey game, and especially series, anybody can win one game, but a series is always won by a team that's more emotional. That's why we love this great game. The team that's not as the most talented, the most structured, all these things doesn't usually win. It's the team that is most desperate, emotionally desperate, willing to do whatever it takes to win. And I think that's Montreal right now.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time Montreal won the cup? Wasn't too long ago.
93.
It was.
Year I was born.
93. Holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those, like, I feel like they're kind of due. Like, it's one of those, like, bringing it back to Montreal. Who's on the Western Conference playing? It's the Knights, and
the Dark Knights are up 2-0 on the juggernaut Avalanche.
Man, I'm pulling for the Avalanche, but I don't know. Just being the Flyers fan, I haven't watched much more than the Flyers series. I watched a little bit of the Buffalo series, Buffalo Canadians. But I'll tell you what, man, the Hurricanes they beat the brakes off of us. I mean, I think we showed up. So like it's tough, like watching their sample size, but like Montreal's just good. Like it just comes down, like you said, if they're battle tested, won 7 games, and they got that young core and stuff like that. Yeah. Just for the fun of it, I'll say I'm gonna go East, Carolina, West. Avalanche is coming back.
Avalanche is coming back. So wow, they lose the first 2 games at home. Vegas is up 2-0 going back. They have the chance to sweep at home ice and bend things. I think the Avs are going to battle back too. I like that. And who'd you say out of the East?
I'm going to say Carolina.
I think Carolina's going to figure it out.
Just because you said Montreal. It's just one of those like, oh, let's have 2 different horses in the race kind of thing.
Oh man, I that would be nuts if it was the Dark Knights versus Canada. I mean, it would be the ultimate Canada versus the US. Like, and that would be like a political crate. Like so many people would tune in for that. It's literally like the Gold Knights represent, unfortunately, you're like the America, how they are in the world right now. They're like bullies. They get around the rules. They do whatever they want. And then you have Montreal is just this like, we just want to play hockey. Like we want to love people and play hockey. But dude, there's a lot of people up here though. Believe me, there's a lot of people that think Canada is, which I mean, they're entitled to their opinions. I think it's just as much a dumpster fire as the US, which I think is just tone deaf. But So a lot of people, like Alberta's trying to vote for independence. I don't think if you knew that, Ben, like Alberta, the province, like, so it'd be like Texas being like, yeah, we're going to be our own country.
They're trying. I think that was like on the docket in this past year. They were talking about doing something like
Texas
that.
was?
Yeah, like it's
Okay, well,
something.
Texas probably, they're like Alberta of our country. There you go.
Yeah, it's yeah, that I don't know much about. Once again, I couldn't tell you where England and Ireland was before 2 weeks ago. So I apologize if I'm not up to date on Canadian politics, the northern politics here. But just through like knowing you and hearing you talk about it, I get a little bit of an idea of a little bit of the tone of kind of what's going on with, like, is he a prime minister? Is that what you guys call him? That's how bad it is. I'm like, do you guys call it a prime minister? Yeah, like I know there's just been some stuff going on, but yeah, man, I don't know. I don't want to say we kind of take the cake for being the biggest dumpster fire right now, but I don't think it's a close second. I don't think you guys are a close second.
No, I don't think so either. But man, I mean, obviously a lot of things could happen. I'm sure they're going to do all they can to make those things happen for Trump to stay in power or whatever. But I think because of the things I've seen, I used to be actually worried about that. Like he was going to somehow actually be able to like suspend elections and martial law, pull a Putin card basically. But after seeing him and Pete Hegseth go to like the military and speak, and usually when, no matter who it is, bipartisan comes in, a president, they all stand and clap, and all the military service members didn't move an inch, didn't clap, didn't do nothing when they came in. Like there's enough of those things happening where I think if unlawful orders came down, that just like with the new codes, like somebody's there to stop that. They'll just like, it's just not, Donald, you're not doing that. Like you can't do that. You know, I think we're at that point where we just have to get through to, when's his term done? 2028. I think the world will have such a collective sigh when somebody else gets picked in 2028. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I've certainly removed myself from any of the awareness of that thing because it's all consuming. A thing of politics and persons and stuff like that. Just once again, it's a respect thing. The way he goes about his business, there's just zero respect for me, and that's okay if you don't see that and it's totally okay. It's not I don't have any reflection of other people who support him. It's just more like I think it's about a humanity thing, not even a leadership at all. It's just how you treat others and on a grand scale and things like that. So
well, it's like people growing up in this time, Ben, like kids who are like, you know, say you're a kid that's maybe from a family that's more into politics than most. You're like 10 years old. Kids growing up that are like 10 that have some awareness of this, they just think it's normal that like politics are just the most messed up thing. Like I didn't even realize that like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, like the most hated Republicans and Democrats would just totally vibe, hang out. Like it wouldn't be like a problem at all. There was very big things going on, but it was so respectful. It was so, and a Republican back then sounded like a Democrat now. Like it was so weird.
Yeah. It's, I think at the end of the day, Ben, you and I are radicalized by human decency. Yeah.
That's a great line. Dana loves the politics. This is why he's piping up. He loves this. Hockey and the politics. That's what Big D likes.
I just think you can tell the true character of a human being, not out of their role, but how they treat others. And I'm sure there are stories of him being generous with his money to less fortunate people and stuff like that. And I don't want to take good deeds away. There's just enough evidence of things of, you know, once again, if it looks like shit, smells like shit, and acts like shit, it's probably shit. You don't get all these allegations on you by being a squeaky clean person. And, you know, maybe not all of them stick, and that's okay. I'm not going to be one to, you know, throw hate at his way. I certainly have those thoughts and those emotions that pop up from time to time, but that's my meat monkey spacesuit that has to catch them and understand. But to Dana's point, yeah, I will always judge a human being by how they treat others all of the time. And there's just a lot of disregard for human life, and it's being like, it's just like it's just like chess pieces being like, oh, we lost that move. No, you killed a whole bunch of people. Like I'm not cool with that. And I'm not asking other people to see it my way, but yeah, that's where I'm just like, I just don't respect that. So
Totally makes sense, man. But my mom, again, just I can't even keep up with the realizations. We had a talk the other night of, because for a long time she was like, I couldn't come in the house without her talking about Trump, right? And then she did a really good job of removing herself from it. And then things will pop up, and she just talks about it from like almost laughing at him now. It's not like the hate turned to like laughing at it, but then it even just progressed to like not even knowing what's going on. But now we're sitting here talking the other day, and she is in like week 7 of her meditation deep dive group that she did. Today was their at-home retreat where it was like 6 hours. They had to do a 2-hour meditation. Like it was like getting intense. But we're talking about how she's like, she wrote a poem, everybody, and she hasn't sent me the final version yet, but with what she's going through, a fucking poem just emerged from her like fucking alien out of the person's chest. Like she couldn't keep it in. She's never written a poem. It just came out. And I had been sharing her the guest house visitor quote, a poem by Rumi. And then at her meditation thing that day, the woman read that poem. My mom's like, okay, like what in the fuck? And she's like, it's just getting pretty weird. I'm like, Mom, she's like, I know it all happens for me. I know. I'm like, well, you can keep saying it like that. It's just going to keep knocking on your door till you go, I know it was a synchronicity. But she's starting to get now why Ram Dass on his altar every morning where he would meditate, he had all the pictures of his masters and different people. And then right in the middle, he had this one guy who was a part of Reagan's administration who he hated more than anybody in the world. His meat monkey spacesuit hated. And he was front and center. And every morning he'd say good morning to all the masters. And especially to you, Richard, because you have to love thy enemy like yourself. And my mom's like starting to get that.
So powerful, man. It is. And I think it's a level of consistency you can do that, because there's some days like I'll hear some things and I'll be like, and I still wish love and happiness and all these things to these people. And it's not for me to judge and understand and think like I'm a power that will bring karmic debts upon these humans. That's not my job or anything like that. It is, no matter what, at the end of the day, I still release and give love, right? But also my meat monkey spacesuit sees, hears, and feels things, like a lot of things. And I have an emotional reaction, but I also know in the moment, I'm like, I'm choosing to have this reaction right now. And I go, okay, have it, breathe through it, let it go. Breathe, stretch, shake, let it go.
Dana, what subject did she teach? She taught everything. She was like grade 7 or 8 or split class or either one all her career, math, English, like kind of like the homeroom kind of thing. My mom, I think she'd be fine. Yeah, talking about this. She was raised in the home basically where it wasn't like she was the only child and she spent a lot of time alone. So she didn't even get told this. She didn't really have much evidence to go on. She just basically filled the void with, oh, if I do really well, I'll get attention. Where some people, it's you're told you're not good enough, so then you go do stuff, or like something happens, like your dad takes his life, and you're like, oh, I'm not good enough, so I got to go get it. My mom was just so basically with parents that hadn't even looked themselves in the mirror, even a sliver, that they were just neglecting themselves so much they kind of left her on her own. So my mom ended up just for the shits and gigs. She won every award in high school. Athletic, I think she only won one. I think she won every class, because back then they had like math award, all these different things. She won every single one, athlete of the year and valedictorian, and didn't even go to the after party because she didn't even care about that. Like didn't go to like the thing where she would be like the Taylor Swift of the thing, because she's just like, she went and got her award and went home and sat at home again alone. And like, what did I just do all that for? So it's like, we're all just out here just acting on this crazy meat monkey spacesuit. And now she's looking back at being like, holy shit, like I did a lot and I didn't have to do that. It didn't change anything.
What did Jim Carrey say? I wish everybody had all their dreams come true and they would realize that they probably still weren't happy or something like that.
Amen.
Yeah, no. Yeah, that's a big one, right? I was having a moment laying in my bed this morning, just petting my cat. The rain was coming down and I was listening to I had binaural beats kind of just playing in the background and stuff like that. And I was like, this is heaven. Like, this is it. Like, there's a roof over my head and there's love in the bed with my cat right there. The rain's coming down. What a beautiful sound. I got this playing. Like I'm warm. Like this is heaven. It can't be better than this. And it's just like it's those we talk about. Then it's those moments that you just kind of bring your awareness out, and the more awareness you put on that, the more it is present, and that's rinse and repeat.
I love that. Namaste, Sharzy, rare one, brother. Welcome in. Yeah, that's nice. That petting your cat in the rain on. I sent a video to the Komodo boys, my social media guys. It was like this woman said, "Come enjoy a rainy day on our bus," and she filmed a reel where they have the most gosh, it was like this school bus renovated into just their like home, and they just drive around in it, and the dogs were in it. She had a bath running, like it's so big in there. They've decked it out so nice. The guy was just petting his dogs, and the rain was falling on the roof. She had a wood fire burning in the freaking bus. I'm like, that just made me think of that. But yeah, I still keep being called by that. Your boy's gonna be on a bus driving around someday.
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
What are you? You're going to be out in Boulder in the mountains or something? What comes through when you think about that?
I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts now, but there's a lot more peace that comes along with it. Definitely spending time in the mountains, out in, I don't want to say in the mountains, but around the mountains. Or I can go for a daily drive and I'm just looking at snow-capped mountains, and wherever I'm going, I'm just surrounded by that. Yeah, I think then winters be spending by a beach with some water. The only thing I worry about, something that pops into my awareness, is I'm definitely a homebody. I definitely like feeling like I have a home base. So that's something I'm curious to see what comes up, is because, like I said, I like feeling safe. I don't want to say safe and secure, but I love having my home base.
Like everything's in one place. Like you're like a bear that like my cave is back there and everything's there and I don't have to worry about it. You're worried about like summer home, winter. It's like, yeah, I see it. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. I had to get used to it with hockey. So I just feel like wherever I go, that was a gift that gave me. Wherever I go, I am home because I've moved so many times. But you're like thinking like Dana, where Dana goes from, it's so interesting because he lives in Arizona. He leaves in the summer. It's too damn hot and goes up to the Northeast. So that's like the same kind of thing.
Yep. No, it is. And I think that's just something that like I do. I think I just value. And then I'll be spending a couple months like in PA and stuff like that. So I'll get that. But yeah, the on the road lifestyle, that's something I always looked at, like professional sports, and I was like, that has to be so hard. Like, especially, and then not only is it hard if you're like with one team your whole career and you're living the dream like that, but like then you get traded. And maybe somewhere you don't want to go, to an organization you don't want to be with. And then now you're living in a place you don't want to be, surrounded by like, I don't think enough is talked about. Like, I know you've shared so much of your story with those kind of things, but like Draymond Green has talked about it quite a bit. And I don't always line up with what he says, but that is one thing I was like, yeah, I think that needs to be voiced more, is like, I don't care how much money you make. That's hard on somebody. Like, there's no price tag for mental well-being, and that has to be incredibly difficult.
I think it affects different people differently for sure. Yeah, you're like the guys who get to play the same place their whole career. That's wild to me. Sharzy's coming in hot. The Walmart bandit wearing a capital P on its hat is fitting.
The Walmart bandit is hilarious.
It's funny how things stick out, right? Like, and I don't know if you saw in the community, I posted there's this little hyena type animal called an aardwolf, and it lives in Africa, and it's like an insectivore, and it has no defenses. It doesn't have strong jaws like the spotted hyena. It literally has no defenses other than smelling really bad. And like when it gets scared, or its defense is to shoot out like shit smelling like glands and like basically take a shit and then just.
So it's like a skunk.
Yeah, like a giant hyena, weak skunk, but it doesn't even have like this like the wicked smell, like the projectile. Apparently, this thing just shits itself, basically. I was like, oh, is this Ben's spirit animal?
Yeah, well, hey, to be fair, I didn't shit myself. I shit a trash can.
You shit a trash can.
Oh God, that's so funny, Sharzy. You got me there. That's so funny. Oh my God.
Sharzy shared. that kid from Rockford's going to get drafted. So Rockford, first time we're going to have a draft pick in 20 years. Sharzy, you must be proud. That's represent the ghetto of Rockford there. Maybe some more kids start coming out of that neck of the woods. Do you have any kids growing up, Ben, that were like hockey guys, or was it always just basketball, football, everything else? Was there any hockey guys around?
Yeah, no, I grew. So I went to a massive high school. I graduated with like 1,100 kids.
Oh my God, you did the real American thing. Eh? My class had like 100 people, 1,100 people
Just in my class. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I was friends with a couple of the hockey guys. One of my best friends. I dated a girl in college who she dated hockey players. I know there's a name for that, but I'm not going to say it here. So I ended up, get this, she was dating 2 hockey players at the same time, and I took her away from 2 hockey players. So all I'm not saying, yeah, that's like an accomplishment, and like it was. But anyway, but like through her, like a couple of her friends were dating, like, so like one of my best friends and former business partners, his name's Joe Clell. He was a hockey player growing up. I've always been such a fan of hockey players because I think I wanted to play hockey outside of just street and backyard. But yeah, so I've long way of answering. Yeah, I had some hockey friends growing up.
Pennsylvania hockey boys. Is the dream like to go to like Penn State around there, or like is that like a big deal?
I knew a couple people that like went to like Slippery Rock. They ended up, I don't know if anyone played for Penn State.
What's Slippery Rock? Is that like a D3 school?
Yeah, it's out like in western PA, so even farther than Penn State.
Why the hell is it called Slippery Rock University? What in the hell?
I think it's like an Irish. I think there's like Slippery Rock, Ireland, or something like. I think it's just kind of like an Irish. I think I could be so wrong.
Oh God! Listen to their tagline: Slippery Rock University of Pennsylvania is your choice for a rock solid education.
That's so good. It's better than That's so funny. I went to Shippensburg. I think ours was like Ship is it or something like that, but I don't remember. But yeah, like I said, I didn't have like best friends playing hockey because I played football, basketball. I played baseball for a little bit, but yeah, man, it was them and lacrosse guys were definitely like their own group of people. There wasn't a lot of cross pollinate. Like football, basketball, and baseball kind of cross pollinated a little bit, and track, but hockey and lacrosse and soccer, I feel like, were a lot of just kind of like. They stayed in their groups, and swimming too.
Look what he just said.
Replace the R for a C, and that explains the American education.
Slippery cock.
All of a sudden, I was like, "What were we talking about?"
I had to quick piece it together in my head too. He's always like 3 steps ahead of me.
That's so funny.
God, Sharzy. You gotta, Sharzy. I'm very, again, I know every time you get going on a couple, I'm like, Sharzy, like when's the poem book coming? When's the stand-up comedy set coming? Like, dude, you got some interesting attributes, man. But he's bouncing around different jobs right now, helping different people with different things. But
hell yeah,
funny enough, used to work at Walmart, so you know there's a lot of ties there. And Sharzy definitely, I don't think would have been cleaning that trash can.
No, and do you know how bad I felt too? Because like the whole time it's happening, the only thing I really could think of is like somebody's going to have to clean this up, and I was just like, oh my God. Like part of me just wanted to like take the trash bag out, tie it up, and like go like do something with it.
That would have been kind of a nice play.
I just.
Were you with the girl? Were you going to put it in another garbage?
That exactly. I didn't know what to do. I was going to walk out with a filled bag and just be like, and people are going to be like, just drawing so much attention to myself.
You come out and go, you know what? Like I was in there just taking a leak, and some guy had a really tough time and just literally shit in the garbage in front of me, and I felt so bad. I'm like, dude, I'll just take it home for you. I'll just get rid of the evidence.
I'm thinking back in the girl's Ford Explorer with a bag full of shit. Of my own.
Pretending like it's somebody else's.
Oh my God. That's diabolical.
Erica wants a Sharzy stream. She feels like she'll get an ab workout laughing so much. Hey, that's how the Love Night works. Maybe Sharzy just starts doing his own stream and people just come because they just want to see this the roomie of Rockford, this live stream, just come, just say the craziest shit, and just have a live show because you're so quick with it, Jersey. Like, you always have something coming in quick. I don't think of things like that quick. Got to spirit around like bathroom like a monkey. Oh God.
I'm like, what's his name? It was Rafiki. I should know I have a tattoo of Rafiki on my arm.
You do?
I do, yeah.
Tell us about that.
You can probably see it.
What inspired that besides obviously Rafiki from the Lion King? Like, what made you want to do it?
So it's Rafiki meditating in the Rocky Mountains.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it was a mixture of obviously my love for Colorado and the Rocky Mountains, mixture of what Rafiki stands for in the Lion King and my journey through mental health and shit like that, meditating, because that's been a part of my journey. So like, yeah, it was just kind of all that. I was like, yeah, I want Rafiki meditating in Longs Peak and put some aspens around them and put them on right near my wrist.
Do you have more aspirations for more tattoos?
Oh, I have a lot of tattoos. How
many do you have now?
I have a half sleeve over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have one on my rib. I have that one. I have a lotus. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Just stand up.
Mm-hmm.
That one. I have a astronaut playing guitar on an asteroid.
Oh, your music one, nice.
That's the Rafiki and that. And then I have a cassette tape over here for my time when I lived in Colorado. Yeah, I want this whole arm to be done. But yeah, so I know I randomly see yours and shit like that. How many do you have?
Isn't it weird how like they just become a party and you totally forget, like you don't even register and you look at them. So the first one I got was 17 after making the attack. Me and my mom went and got it because it wasn't 18 yet. She came with me. Dream, work hard, believe. That's on my right bicep. And then when I got drafted in NHL, 2 years later, we got achieve, reflect, repeat on my X arm. And that first one, Dream, Work Hard, Believe, she put on a necklace for me for my birthday, like months before I made the attack. It was like one of those like kiosks at the mall where you can put like engravings on dog tags. And she put that on there. And I was like, damn, I like that. And like,
sick.
He's like, that's what we do. You have your dream. We work hard at it and we believe. And then I said, well, yeah. And then when we get things done, it's like we achieve it. We reflect on it and we repeat. So those are the first two. And then I got this one. This was a crazy fucking experience getting this. So this is like the thistles. It's kind of like the, flower of Scotland, and it can grow like concrete. It's just like nails, and it's obviously in Braveheart, which is a big part of like freedom and Scotland heritage. So I just thought that was sweet. But I booked it in with this lady in Mankato. So it's like Twin Cities are 4 hours away directly north from Iowa, when that was the drive you made up and down from the minors to the NHL. And right in between was Mankato. So I had to book this tattoo on an off day, mid-season, like a year in advance to get it because she was awesome, this artist. And then I decided to drive up there on the day, and I was miserable because I'd been sent down and there's a snowstorm coming. And I'm like, should I go get tattooed for 4 hours and then just rip back here and make it? What if the snowstorm's bad? No, it's Iowa. It's never bad in Iowa. It's just windy. It's fine. I get tattooed. It absolutely is like a record breaker storm. It is whiteout conditions for hours in a row. I don't know how I made it home, but I just kept going. I was behind an 18-wheeler that was like a fucking plow, and I was just hoping he didn't go off and I didn't go off. It was sketchy, dude, because I'm like, what are you going to miss practice because you drove 3 hours to get a tattoo mid-season? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, it's so funny when you get to it's like those sobering moments. It's like, I've made decisions and I have to now live with the consequences of these decisions.
I fucked around and I know that I may have to be made to find out.
Yeah, no. Especially once again, like emotional decisions, right? Like you said, like you were just sent down and stuff like that. Oh, it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go get tattooed.
I thought I was gonna be going south from the Twin Cities because I was in the show to get the tattoo, not north from Iowa to have to get it. Fuck me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that was the third one, and then I got what was next? Can't remember. I don't even know the order anymore. There was this one I have with my mom and brother, which is like a Trinity knot that is with the heart in it.
Hell yeah.
And my mom this was before she believed in any synchronicities, but this thing just kept popping up everywhere and she loved it. So she has one in our basement. And then she's like, I really like that. And she was thinking about tattoos. Like, what if you, me, and Ian got it? Because it's like 3 people. So me and mom got it together the first time. And then my brother didn't want to get it. And then he followed suit. So now he does have it. And then I made another in-season decision. This time the opposite. I was zooming so high. I was with the Devils and I was just buzzing. And I'm like, it's time to get another tattoo. So went to didn't even really research it. Just went to some random place and got them to put on my great-grandmother's Dewar clan crest, because my great-grandfather was not the best dude. So I was like, I'm going to go with great-grandma. And on it, it's like a sword and an arm and a sword. And it says in Gaelic or something, it says, what would a man not do for his country? So I just thought it was like this like war cry kind of thing, like you'll fight freedom. But I literally was like, got it and played the next night. So I was just like hitting people with my freshly tattooed shoulder and the ink's just flying out of it. They're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. And I was so hypomanic.
That was part of it. That's what made it so cool, is like, I didn't get like that. It's going to be worn. It's going to be all this stuff. Like, yeah, no, guys, I was going to ask you then if you had any tattoos that didn't heal well.
Oh yeah,
it's probably that one.
It's actually the guy did, for not researching, the guy did a hell of a job. But yeah, there's good chunks that are just non-existent. And
yeah,
I just look at them now. I used to be like so like kind of embarrassed about them before on my healing journey. Like, you just loser, you have all these like random tattoos, because I had plans to obviously have the sleeves like a hockey guy, look badass, and get the girls, all that stuff. I had planned to get this whole arm done. I booked a guy in Denmark. His name's Sinners Inc. His art is insane. Took 2.5 year waiting list, down payment, the whole thing. Off season, timed it right. Gonna go over there to Denmark, get tattooed for a week straight of like 7 hours a day, and then go from there to Scotland with mom for the first time and heal up and just rest and lay low. But then COVID hit, so I didn't get to go. Lost the down payment. I'm like, that's definitely it for me. And I don't give a shit what's coming through. If I was Buddha tattoo, no, I'm done. And I look at them and I just go, you can literally see who I was when I got those, and how they look is how messed up I was at the time. They're just a beautiful roadmap of me.
I love that, man. It is so funny. Because I have like the play mask, right, of like the happy and sad. And I have over here, but like they're like kind of look like Joker-ish, like, so I'll have to show you one day. But I have that. I have on the back of my arm here, I have a script, but it's from the lyrics from one of my favorite lyrics of all time, and it's been since I was like 17. It's a Grateful Dead song called Scarlet Begonias, and it's once in a while you get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right.
Oh,
so that's something like I was like, I've loved that lyric for so long. And then I have like, it's like on the bottom of that, I have ink bottle. I don't know if you can, probably not. An ink bottle that's spilled over with like an old calligraphy pen. And then here I have the Wish You Were Here Pink Floyd album cover in a Polaroid picture, and the handshaking. And on the bottom, it says Wish You Were Here for my friend my best friend that passed away. And then on the inside here, I have a deck of cards that you probably can see.
Very symbolic tattoos, eh? Like, you're
all
really
of
big
them.
Into the symbolism.
All of them. And this is for my grandfather. This is the one that, ironically, he hated tattoos. So this is the only one that didn't heal. And it's numbers 47 in cards because we called him Sunny 47. And it's playing cards because like Christmas Eve is like when we like play cards, play games, and all the stuff. So that was for him.
Dude, that's nice. I like it. I like that you kind of just go with the flow of what comes through. You're not really like planning them. They're like mosaics. They're like quilts that you're like putting together.
They all have meaning. Meaning.
Dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Instagram chat, we have KXRen, which I think is like Karen, basically with X's. So I'm not for sure. I haven't chatted with them too much, but they came in now, Ben, from as a fan of the Ducks and Jeff VL, and there was the first person that screenshotted our podcast. They were watching it on their TV. First person to screenshot it and share it. So shout out to you at KXRen, NXRen or whatever. Namaste. Thank you so much. And then Dave Weasel, he was coming for a couple days in a row, but he's a comedian originally from Canada who lives in the US now. He says, I love this podcast. I've been improving myself, brother. He says, got on Ozempic last week and Ritalin the week before, getting back to my old self. Hey, brother, anything that is valid for you on the path works for me, my man. So I absolutely love that. I love that. I'm so happy you're starting to feel back to your old self, dude. Amen, Dave Weasel.
Dude, hell yeah. And what a podcast, man. What a podcast.
He's a unique individual, man. Like, there is nobody like Jeff VL. I don't think people know that, but they're going to know now if they tune in. The most, like, I was a chaotic extremist person of like crazy all over the place. Jeff VL is the most calm, cool, collected psycho killer there is. This guy could flip the switch, everybody, and be like, I've seen him. Like, we were told not to fight in training camp. He was coming after me. He didn't give no fucks. Okay, I'm talking to the coach, like, what the fuck? Like, this guy's just constant gnawing on my foot to fight me, and we're not supposed to. But then he can be off the ice and be your friend, like a dear friend, seconds later, and he doesn't translate any of it. You saw on the podcast, I'm literally like, by the end, I'm like, dude, what is up with you? Like, I'm like kind of like weirdly intrigued and like jealous. Like, how are you so able to flip that switch? He's like, I don't know. And I said to him, it's almost like you're high, but you're not. You're just so chill.
Dude, you feel your blood pressure go down when you hear him talking and stuff like that. And then like you're throwing up the clips of like his highlights of his fights. And like there's some like you see like tactical fighters. Like there's obviously some violence, but that man had weapons for fit, and he had every intent to be violent with every throw. Like at least that's what it looked like. I know there's so much like
he did,
stuff, but that man just threw with violence.
He does. He's not huge. Like, he's thick. He's the same weight as me at only 6'1". Like, he's thick, but he ain't tall. And he's fighting guys he gives up a lot of height to. And he just doesn't quit. And I hope he signs a ticket. Like, I'm thinking he should be signed at least to 4 years, $2 million per $8 million deal to be on the Anaheim Ducks out in California. Like, I'm just
still on Anaheim.
Yeah,
is he still on the Ducks?
Yeah, he got traded there, maybe with like 20 games left in the season to add some like secondary toughness and grittiness. So, because now they have probably one of the best 1-2 punches. They got Ross Johnston, who I fought briefly. It didn't go well. He pushed me over, but 6'5", 230, and Jeff 6'1", 214. But they'll like fight anybody, and they can both play. And so I'm very excited. And they have a young team that's going to be like a contender for years now.
I forgot that he took time in season to jump on. That's insane.
Well, no, wait, no. It was it was
in season.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. It was no, it was All-Star break. He went on a little vacay, and then he had a couple days before the season started back up.
That's right. Yeah, I totally forgot. I'm sitting there and I'm like, I forgot he's still fucking playing, man. I hope he does sign a ticket, man. I was watching. There's obviously every time before we jump on, I like to watch some like clips and do a little bit of research and stuff. Like, dude, everyone we've had on the podcast so far, or I should say you've had on the podcast and we got to talk about, is you talk about that switch. Now, I want to ask you a little bit of a question. Was it a switch for you, or were you kind of like always on?
Yeah, it was not a switch for me. I was. He genuinely likes it. Like and again, I would have said that when I was playing, but I actually believe him when he says it. I think he actually does like it to some degree. And then I think that's why he's so like able to turn on. Cause he's like, oh, like I get to go do this now. Like, I don't mind it. I like it. Whereas for me, it was like, oh yeah, I like it. It's like, no, you don't. And you can't turn it off. It's because I was always on edge with it. And that's why, even though I was distraught and identity crisis coming down on me when I retired, the next day I woke up after announcing on social media, I literally went like, I never have to be in a fight again. Mm-hmm. Wow, that feels nice. Like, that was really, I didn't expect that. I did not. It was like a visceral, wow. Even though I was, again, just then plunged into the existential crisis, but it was a weight off for sure.
Yeah, it's so interesting because like you said, that could have went either way. Like that, because that was your identity, man, for a long time. So I'm sure, hopefully, a little bit of that relief was like, okay, I got to get other stuff in order, but like, thank God I don't have to fucking do that. That's big. That's big.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say? I think this is just more like, this is like a hockey like question for you. More so like, what if anything do you miss? Not in a way that you're lacking without it, but in a way like you think fondly back of it. If anything, doesn't have to be anything, but
I guess no, it makes sense what comes through. Like I'm trying to because there's different like buckets I could stand in and answer this from different places. But if I just go what comes up that feels like the most pull is when I was living from the zone. Yeah. Like that's not a canned answer because our course is called that. That's literally why the course is called this, though. It's because that is the greatest moments. We could all say, yeah, it's the boys, the camaraderie. That's for sure valid. I agree. But like, it was those zone moments where I played a game and I was going into the game. I'm like, they think they're going to stop me. Like that was there's just some times, and my mom still talks about it. She's like, when you were on, like you were way more than your average. Like, you know what I mean? Like she's like, when you had things okay for whatever reason, you were a fucking good hockey player. And I'm like, thanks, mama. You know, it was hard to keep it. And now when I look back, I'm like, that was always there. I just didn't understand how I accessed it. I thought I fell into it and it wasn't something I could manufacture or I could reproduce or reveal or remember our true nature. But yeah, like in one game against the Oklahoma City Barons at home, I had 2 goals and 2 fights. Like I was just like, get the fuck out of my way. I beat the guys up. I scored nasty goals. I had a game in Hamilton in front of the first pro game I played in front of other than like my mom, because it was near my hometown. So it was like an hour away. So there was like 15 people from different sides of the family. And I had a Gordie Howe hat trick, goal, assist, and a fight, like a snipe on a 2-on-1 too. Like high glove. Like it's just those moments where you're just like, you just literally couldn't do a thing wrong if you tried. I just my legs felt like the Energizer Bunny. Like I was it was like a painter. I got to be an artist playing hockey those nights, not grinding my meat suit through the grinder that is pro hockey. You know? Would you describe
the feeling of like your body is numb because everything is so in flow? Like you don't feel your stick on the ice, you don't feel the puck on your stick, you don't feel your skate. Like everything is just like your body, everything is numb, and you're just the awareness of everything happening, and it's just kind of like you just take a seat back and you're just watching it happen. You don't have the feelings, you don't have the thing. Like that's what I think of, like what you're talking about.
It's it, man. And that's what's so funny is that is the biggest look in to the rest of my life. You know, like now I do truly live from that place in a way that's not even performative. It's like, it's just sucking me into it. Like I can't stop it. That way it was like, I got to train. I got to do all this all summer. I got to get everything lined up. Everything's perfect. All my ducks in a row. And it unlocks this zone flow moment. It's like, that is the natural state now. Because I'm doing something that is like, it's like breathing, doing all this, you know, it's just like that. It's, man, that's why the course, the next arena, living from the zone, because that's what we're all trying to do. It's so nice, man. It's so nice. Fuck, I love that feeling, man. And oh yeah, you're getting me going. That's a great question, man. Before you asked me that, I wasn't gonna ask you that. I was gonna ask you about it because we were talking about fighting. I was like, because I haven't been in any fights off the ice. So I think you probably have been in fist fights off the ice.
I've been in a couple, but not a lot though. It was like kid stuff. It wasn't
not adult stuff. Okay.
No, I'd probably say like the oldest. It was like, you know, there was like drinking with your boys and getting rowdy and peacocking a little bit and you know, throwing some fists and stuff like that. But like it was your boys. It wasn't like your boys going out and then fighting other guys. No, I wasn't like that. But like it was a bunch of like childhood, like I'd say like 13, 14, 15 years old.
But like throwing hands, like trying to hurt each other.
Yeah, I've always been somebody who I mentioned to you this in private the other day. It's like, you can say whatever you want to me. You can say like, I don't care. Like I'm good. I'm a big boy. But when you start either physically taking jabs at people or emotionally, verbally taking jabs at people who are more defenseless, there's something that in me that would like become like, I don't get mad. I get like just very reactive. and I fill into my body very quickly. I'm no longer a teddy bear, and I use what I was just like 6'2", 6'3", 215, whatever. And like, yeah, no, I threw hands. Somebody hit one of my best friends. We were playing basketball, and they like he went up for, and it was just such a cheap shot, and his like back like split the pole of the thing, and I went and I just clocked him.
No.
And there, like, we were in our buddy's backyard, so there was this aluminum bat, and he picked it up and he went to like he threw it at me, and in that state of, we'll call it flow, I caught it, and like I literally caught it, and I just like dropped it, and he just like ran away, and I was like, because it was just one of those things, like that's the one thing, and then like, you know, throwing hands and like snow fights and shit like that, like dumb shit, but never. I'm not a fighter. I am a lover. Through and through.
Yeah, that's all I had as a kid was like, yeah, like playing 2-touch football and somebody pushes somebody too hard and you end up like wrestling on the ground for like 5 seconds and you're like, hey, this is stupid. You know, you're like, yeah. Like, so I'm fortunate because, man, those real fights shit gets crazy, man. Like, like, oh man, those are I can't remember what movie it was where some guy thinks he does the right thing by defending someone or whatever, or maybe he's peacocking a bit, but he hits a guy and the guy just falls and like hits his head on a curb and then has like brain damage and like now he's getting charged and like, you know what I mean? Like
John Barenthal.
It's like that kind of, that's that actor, right?
Yeah.
Did he have that happen?
He was, I don't want to tell the story for him, but it's on like he told me it.
I want to go on that podcast so bad.
Dude, hell of a story. He was talking about like, he was like, this is before his big break and like all this stuff. He was like sitting on a beach and I think it's California. And this guy like rolls up with 40s or whatever. And he's clearly drunk, wasted. And he's like starting shit. And John was apparently having a bad day and he rocked his shit. And he hit his head or whatever it was and was out cold. And like the police came and everything. Like he was out for like minutes. And they were pretty much like, if he doesn't wake up, we have to take you to jail. Like you killed somebody. And by the grace of God, the guy woke up, all this stuff. It was like one of those moments. But yeah, like, dude, you hit someone the wrong way. Like that changes your life because whether you thought it was cool, the right thing to do, you were taught to do it. Like, yeah, man, things can go south really quick.
Scary, dude. Or just someone just taking an extra shot when you're on the ground that like just messes you up for life or something. Like, oh, there's no rules. Like, I know I'm the type of person that would fight fair. But then you don't know what somebody else is going to do in front of other people when they're embarrassed. They're going to eye gouge you. They're going to, you know, who knows, man? That's scary.
That is, yeah. No, the only time I ever like felt like it was like a hockey fight was like I was probably like 12 and we were like sledding and somebody was like picking on one of my friends. And I remember going up and I pulled his jacket or sweatshirt over his head. I was just taking rabbit punches at him and he couldn't see. And then one of his buddies put their over and like, it was just like, I had like my hat over my eyes and I was just swinging blind. It's like, you know, you go into survival mode. Like I'm also a 12-year-old, 13-year-old throwing hands. Like I probably couldn't have broke a plate of glass like at that time, you know, like
neither could I. I didn't even know how to like hold my fist to like make a punch.
I did start boxing when I was like 16 for a little bit as like off-season stuff, but that's once I started boxing, I never threw a punch again in my life.
Oh, really? So that's usually how it works because you learn the discipline. But Dave Weasel over here, the comedian's going, everything you guys say makes so much sense, so inspirational. I'm just waiting for the Jesus part. Okay, Dave. He's putting us on a fucking pedestal, brother, but we appreciate the love. And then he goes, do stand-up comedy, bros, for real. That's coming from a comedian. That's pretty freaking cool. You think you're talking to Sharzy, not us. We're just big goofs. If you just put us on stage and just let us talk about whatever, maybe something funny would happen. But if you tell me I have to be funny, that's a whole different ball game, brother.
Yeah, dude. That would be fun. I appreciate the love. I would love to do that. That was my dream as a kid. I wanted to be a stand-up comedian.
Really?
Yeah, I did. Before I wanted to. I don't know. I just loved it. I just loved, like, I was always like a pitcher. I was always like the center of attention in sports. Like that was just like, I always wanted to be a goalie in hockey. I was a pitcher in baseball. I was whatever, like I was a quarterback in football. Like I was just all of it. Right. So stand-up comedian was just like the thing. I was like, oh, I want to be the center of attention, I guess. I didn't think of that at the time, but like, I love having that pressure on me. I love the person like it's only you, go figure it out. and rip. But then like as I got older, I said then I just wanted to be a late night TV show host.
Yeah, that's better. Dave Weasel's asking for your handle. It's somebody like you .official, right?
Yep.
There you go. Send it to Dave Weasel. That's our boy Ben. Dave. He's gonna have a late night show one day. That's gonna be his thing. So you're kind of on the right track there. That's basically comedy, right? But I want to adjust what Sharzy said up here before we get to Erica. Sharzy said, "Got to carry 2 Bic lighters so you can peel your hand open after you break it." I didn't know this thing. So in high school one day, these 2 guys were beefing. One guy was like this kind of like definitely more gangsterish, but like Mexican guy, kind of, you know, hey, SA, like one of those kind of guys, you know, and the other guy was Brian Miedema, who's like this just kind of like normal white dude. And they got in a heated thing and they're like, we're going to Proctor Park. And this is the park I like broke down in. It's part of my story, which is kind of interesting. But they like a huge group of people went. And I'm like, there's a fire. Like, fuck it. As long as I'm not in it, I can't get in trouble. I'll go. Typical bystander. And I go, and I didn't know about this Bic lighter thing that you put those in your hands and that packs your wrists. Your hand makes it such a harder punch, pushes your knuckles out. Dude, I guess Brian Miedema didn't know either. This guy, the Mexican guy, had his hands down. He had Bic lighters in each hand. And Miedema, thinking, you know, he's an inexperienced white dude, he thinks it's going to be a hockey fight. He goes to grab on, kind of like what I did with Vince down the hallway. And this guy one-punched him so hard that his eyeball popped out a bit. It broke his orbital bone so bad that his eyeball came like out a bit, and he turned and everybody saw it and everybody just started fucking screaming and running, and he just like face planted and everybody ran and the ambulances were like coming the other way. Like I was like, I am never getting in a fight. No, thank you, off the ice. This is before I'd ever been in a hockey fight on the ice.
Dude.
Scared the shit out of me.
Oh my God. Yo, that's insane.
It was, dude. Scarred me.
The only other... So I was supposed to, our football teams were beefing, like it was CB West and North Penn. Unless you're from Pennsylvania, you don't have any idea. Unless you're from literally locally where I'm from, that means nothing to anybody. But we're like both the biggest football quad A, we're rivals, yada, yada. Well, I was supposed to be at this football fight, but I was playing summer league basketball because I played both sports. I can't say because he did not get arrested. Somebody else took the fall for him, and I'm not going to be the person to rat anybody out. Well, it turned out to be like a 40-on-4 fight. Our team, our group, our North Penn people showed up, and like somebody like put their head, like there's a curb stomp. Well, somebody put their head on a curb, and then they lined up like they were kicking a field goal and kicked their face and kicked their teeth and broke their jaw, everything. And somebody took the rap for it, and the other person never came forward. And once again, but yeah, like that type of shit, like you think you're showing up to like what it would be a fair fight, like okay, we're gonna grapple, like then that shit's happening. Orbital bones are getting broke, eye sockets are getting popped. Come on, bud.
Yeah, dude. That's what Sharzy knows. Shary's like, you never fight fair in a street fight. That's why I don't fight in street fights. He goes, I watched my neighbor get a beer bottle smashed over his head by a disgruntled baby mom. I never saw somebody bleed so much. I always carried rolls of pennies covered in electrical tape. The extra weight works wonders. See, sure, this is your kind of conversation today, Sharzy. Holy frig.
What did Erica say?
Erica's
got a story. I got pissed off at these 2 guys being absolute idiots at a party once. I got in a fist fight with them and bottled one. Was arrested for assault with weapon months later and paid $1,000 to fix his tooth and got dismissed. Was like a year and a bit dealing with the court. Damn. Good for you sticking up for yourself.
Thankfully, I'm not like that anymore. Dana's like, you're a baddie.
Baddie.
Dana, the retired firefighter, going, you're a baddie, Erica.
Absolute baddie. Dude, good for you, because if Erica's saying they're acting like idiots, they were probably doing something that deserved to get a bottle on the back of their head. I don't condone it.
It's a different thing. I wonder, Sharzy, how's your nephew doing at school? How did you guys deal with that whole situation? That got us on like a 45-minute talk the other day when you talked about that. Dave Weasel over here in Instagram says, I had a big mouth in school. My little brother was a huge fighter and made it very far in hockey. He was defending me left and right. Oh boy. So you were the Sean Avery, you were the rat to his toughness. Just, he was finishing everything off. You graduated from there. What are you talking about, Sharzy? Just Google Byron football scandals. I can explain both. I graduated from there.
Byron, got it. I was like, are you telling me you graduated from North Penn or CB West? I was like, there's no way we went to the same fucking high school. I was like, there's no way, Sharzy.
I can't believe you went to a school. So if you had 1,100 people in your graduating class, so what? You had like 4,000 plus kids in your school?
So my high school was only 10th, 11th, and 12th.
And it still had that many.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it was probably close to 4,000. It was probably like, because it was like every year after, it was like you were the most graduated class, like the highest graduating class of all time, and then the next class would come and it would be them. So I would say it was probably around like 3,500 total in the high school. Yeah, it was a massive high school.
Up in Canada, like whatever, my school had like I said, like maybe 400, 500 kids. It's like you saw these movies about high school in the States, and you know that sports is like all played through like high school in the States because it's like they're like universities before college, like going to university. But yeah, I never could, like, you watch the movies, you had like real, like somebody could have the Zac Efron experience there from like high, you know, like Basketball Musical, whatever movie that was, like where like you don't even know it, you don't know everybody's face in your own school. Like we knew everybody at our school, whereas this one is like it's like a totally different ball game. Friday
Night Lights was real. Like it was a packed house on Friday nights. Like it was crazy. Yeah, it was.
Damn. That's so foreign to what I've been through. Hardy Thandy, namaste. We are one, Hardy Thandy. We haven't seen you in a while. They were asking, I guess they jumped in right when I was telling the orbital bone eyeball thing. That was just a thing from high school. Some random dude that we didn't know packed his wrists and punched somebody's eye out. Dave Weasel said, I had 12 people in my graduating class in northern Manitoba outside Flin Flon. Flin Flon, Manitoba, 12 people in the graduating class. Holy shit, Ben.
Wow. So I went to Catholic school growing up. So like I was familiar with smaller like grade, like, but that's now when you say you had a graduating class of 12, were you like K through 12 or what? I don't know what you're like. Were you like one class all the way through, or were you able to go to like elementary school, then like a middle school and a high school? But I know like a lot of places, like my partner was like literally K through 12, all the same kids for 12 years. And it was like 22 people.
Yeah, I bet you that's what it was for Dave Weasel too. He goes, yep, what Curtis said about being like seeing the US. We had TVs telling us everything. The only black people I saw as a kid was on Fresh Prince. That's how people get views, right? And don't understand the world. And that's wild, man. No kidding. He says,
that's what I love about where I grew up is the exposure to multiple ethnicities, cultures. Like I grew up with that. So like when things happen, just kind of like, I'm like, how can you be so close-minded? Well, not everybody had the same, once again, not everybody had the same experiences. I also went to school with people that were very close-minded and did have the same experience, but that's something I don't take for granted, is having that exposure and like being friends with so many people from different like ethnicities and cultures and stuff like that was a really, really beneficial experience.
Oh yeah. I've always seen people who are like, have like rich parents or like they move a lot for work. I always think that would be so beneficial just to see the world and understand different perspectives. Like those international schools where there's like different languages and shit. Dave Weasel, it was 9 to 12, but it was a residential school, so all the reserves in northern Manitoba. Okay, gotcha. Hardy Thandy only had 40 people in my graduating class. There's a lot of people with different experiences here. Erica, yes, if I had to wake them, yes, I had to wake them like that, then that's what had to happen. Woke myself up too. Always hope they're doing all right. Sometimes bump into one of them. Oh gosh, bump into the people you bottled. Jeez, Shari Soulflow had 500 in her class. Can't imagine having over 1,000. Wow,
that's a lot.
Yeah, I can't. That's so interesting. Because I never went. I never. How many people here never went to university or college? I didn't, just because I started playing pro hockey. But I was quite pumped about that back then. Now I can see how it would be quite an interesting experience. Karen out there in California says, I couldn't imagine going to school where you knew everyone. There was always so many kids, especially when I got to high school. Yeah, like everybody knew everybody. And my whole life, well, Newmarket was a decent sized place, but the schools I went to and then moving up to Owen Sound, I've always mostly been in environments where everybody knows each other, where it's a small town, where you can't like get away with shit. News travels fast and stuff. So being in a high school where you don't even know like a quarter of the kids. Wow, that would be daunting. That would be terrifying. Like we had this one school, and then like the 3 public schools around went to it, and you even knew people that were coming from the other schools ahead of time to come to that high school.
And that's what's so crazy, because like in my recent ignition of like falling back in love with like not just the sport of hockey but the process of hockey, and like learning so much more, like so many people make it to a certain level of hockey out there where it's just kind of like everyone I hear, I feel like comes from a small town, got recognized early, went 2 hours away from their home. Like it's such like not a rinse and repeat story, but like it sounds like so many of the hockey players that like played, it's such a similar story of like small town, got noticed by whether it be a scout or whatever it is, and then went off and started playing. Now, once again, I think I'll use the word privileged here, of like I'm hearing a lot of stories from people who did make it to the higher levels, like yourself and other people who are on the podcast, but like even other stuff, man, it's just like it gives me this idea that like Canada is just a bunch of small towns, and I know that's not true.
I saw a thing the other day, which this will blow your mind because of your geography lack of experience, is that 80-something% of Canada's population lives far more south than the upper like 20 states. Like if you actually look on a map, all that Montana and Wyoming all out there is way more north than where we live. All of Canada lives in the most fertile farming land in like ever. Like we're around Toronto and everything, all around the Great Lakes. So that's actually pretty south. So it's kind of funny how like we actually live more south than a lot of American states.
Yeah, and that is crazy. And I just think of how big Canada is, and like how much is like
Yep.
not livable,
You got it.
uninhabitable,
Uninhabited. Yeah. Just
uninhabited. I was like uninhabitable,
just empty, brother. Just
yeah,
just timber and oil and minerals, and that we're like a gold mine.
yeah. I mean, I think a lot of where I'm coming up with is like I can't stop watching Shoresy. Like I'm telling you, I'm already on my second time through, and I'm gonna have to Shoresy. I did see the scene you were talking about. It was the first episode of season 5, and yeah, like it's just so wild. Like I have like questions, but like I don't know, man. It makes me nostalgic for a sport I never really played. So like it's one of those things of like I think it's just so cinematically done, all those things. So like it captures a lot of essence of a hometown hockey team and those kind of things. It just kind of brings you back to your version, like my version of that story in whatever world I was living in. So that's where like hearing from the hockey and now being kind of inserted into this hockey world, I find it so interesting to hear all of the little stories about how the intricacies of getting to where we do, like Brady Leavold's story of getting where he was, like all like his is obviously an incredible different journey, but like that kind of stuff just fascinates me because it's just a world I didn't live in.
Yeah, like all like the big stars most of the time from the States for football and baseball, they're all coming from big cities. There's the odd farm boy that's really good, whatever, but most of the time it's big cities, man. I recently saw a video, I guess, of like, I guess historically Mississippi was like the most racist place, right? Like out of all the states, but these like football stars still are like, they're like going to like Ole Miss for like visits and stuff, and their mamas are like, you ain't going to that state. No, like there's still like that kind of stuff that gets talked about and goes on. That's wild in 2026, man. Like they go there and they're like, there ain't one other, this is all white people. I ain't sending my boy out there. Like this, that's kind of interesting.
It is, and I can't speak to it because I've never been there, but like it's definitely a thing of like even if they come like star athletes come from smaller towns, you end up knowing them because they went to like a big college. Like it's like that's like a majority of what happens. So like that's where like I feel like the story, and I was just so unfamiliar of how, because that's still the process of hockey in my mind. Like, oh, especially in the States, like okay, you train, you go to school, you go like people like, yeah, I play, like my mind, I'm like every Canadian's a professional hockey player. Like everyone becomes a professional hockey player because that's just what you guys do. And then someone's like, yeah, I became a professional hockey player at like 15 or 16. And I'm like, wait, what? And, like, that process didn't make sense to me. Like, what do you mean you're a professional at 16? Like, were you getting paid? Like, it never made any sense to me. And now through like your journey and learning about it, I'm like, oh, that's had to be such a cool, like, at that age group. Like, obviously it's so much pressure and stuff like that, but like, I think that's the right time to get like that kind of swing into that, because that for me, I think that is just so cool. Is like, what a fucking jump at that age.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that could be as scary as shit too, but
Definitely scary. Eric, I've been to university for a year and a bit, environmental studies, 2 colleges for different certifications. Heard that too. I know that with people, and I know that are into that. Sharzy I got out of that. Oh, Sharzy was talking about going to trade school. I could definitely see Sharzy just being a smart mouth mechanic who just entertain you while he fixes your car. Linz, what's going on, Linz? Nice to hear from you, fellow wave. Namaste. My personal path for post-secondary has led me to see other types of people. I've encountered 65-year-olds pursuing a degree to 18-year-old moms with 5 kids. It's fascinating. Wow. That is always so powerful to me when there's an adult that has no business being in school, but is still doing it in their free time. Oh, that is inspiring. That is inspiring, really. Like, I'm not going to lie. Going through my really tough time, one of my fears was like, what if I like don't do something? Like I saved my money well after my career where I had a cushion to not do anything. But I was like, what if I waste this time? And then what if I have to like go like work like extra jobs and like to do my passions? Like I have to, I don't know, like that just like is ballsy to me. Someone to just spend their every waking hour just on the move and then in your free time go to school. Like, oh, that's impressive.
yeah, it is.
Cool.
Is there anything, so some people just like learning, right? Is there anything that you love to like continue to learn? Like whether it be like, I know like on the spiritual path, it's like the practice and becoming the awareness and stuff like that. But is there any like subjects or topics or things that you find yourself like, oh, I love learning about that? And anybody in the chat too, if that's something like pops up, it's like, oh yeah, I find this I'm like, for instance, I say like, I'm like a quantum mechanics hobbyist. I love learning about quantum mechanics, quantum physics, and all that stuff.
That's definitely one. My problem is as my mom says, like my mom's like critical of everything she watches, and she's like, I'm like, how's the movie? Let me guess, it was shit. She's like, it's shit. You know, like I've never seen a bad movie. I could watch paint dry and find it entertaining. My problem is I like everything, which I think is also why I like go to very extremes to shut things out and focus. So of course the spiritual stuff has just invaded my life like the best flu, where I can't not think about that first. It's just the way it is. But if I just want to, anyway, you run at that until then. That's basically the idea, is that gets put to bed, and then you know who you are and remember, and then you could just let life go. But I do find myself, I just fucking love dragons and dinosaurs. Like there's something innately in me where the dinosaurs are like the supposed real thing with like, you know, bones and the new discoveries with the feathers and just like all that piecing together the mystery of what they actually were like. And then there's the other aspect, which is the dragons, which is just like your imagination, pick what you want. And like the kind of dragon that I like, which I think is cooler than any other dragons. Like that's a shit that I could go on a long time about, man. Like what's your number one thing? You said quantum physics. So like, that's definitely my bucket. That's definitely a bucket of mine too.
So it's that type of stuff. And even Erica Lovely, she said human behavior. I went to school so I got my degree in psychology, and it was with a focus in behavior analysis. So I was doing a bunch of that type of work, and then like cognitive stuff. But it's my biggest fascination is what makes reality reality, and the human experience. Like not the whole not obviously the why are we here? What is this? But like the idea of what so like Hoffman, what's his fucking
Donald Hoffman.
Like once I found him, I was even before that, but like he was like the cream of the crop for me. I was like, this is the stuff I want to know. Like, what is the human experience? And like the whole like the rendering when we're not looking at the moon's not there. Yes. When we get like that type of stuff, like I could listen to, and then the breakdown of the physics behind it, the quantum mechanics of it, the entanglements, the observer, like that stuff. Like I could listen to anybody talk about forever. I love that stuff so much.
I'm so there with you, brother. That Donald Hoffman guy, when I first heard him speak, I used to just be terrified of the word university, but man, if I was taking that guy's course, I would learn whatever the hell I'd have to understand what the hell we were doing, because it's just the passion would just take over. Like that's ultimately what we want to do, right? That guy does not work a day in his life. But by the way, he meditates like 2 hours, 3 hours a day. And I think that's so fucking sick. Lisa says she would have loved to have been a psychologist. Shersey feels the same way about me. There's just too many to list. Erica took a dinosaur extension course in uni. LOL. Oh yeah, that's a great topic. Shori Soulflow, love learning also about human behavior and spiritual growth. Shersey goes, I knew Shersey would like dinosaurs. I definitely vibe with that. Out here in Instagram, Dave Weasel goes, dragons versus quantum physics. Off my ass off. You get it all here. He goes, I believe in aliens and think they're way smarter than us. Quantum physics is what they learn in alien kindergarten. Fucking right there.
I love that. I love that.
That is true. And poop stories, says Erica.
Can't forget about them. Yeah. And you mentioned about, you know what I think Donald Hoffman's greatest strength about it is his ability to communicate at a level in which I feel I can understand. Like I don't need to get this doctorate level. Like I just want to be able to understand the kindergarten version of it. So like, and then I'll learn on my own. He communicates in such a way that I'm like, he makes me feel smarter just by listening to him talk about all this stuff. And he's so humble about like, yeah, no, this is what I do, all that stuff.
Took the words out of my mouth. He's so humble. He does it in a way is a true scientist. Like he's not sitting here going, he's like, first of all, we're never going to figure it all out. There'll never be a theory of everything, but why not have fun? Like understanding like 1/1000th of what's going on. Why, like that sounds fucking exciting. And talking about how other people shit on him and just dump on him for his theories and stuff. He's like, yeah, I get it. They're just, they're in their ego and they're protecting what they think they know. And it's the time will tell. It's like with science, we know we're wrong. Thanks for telling me I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. It's a hypothesis. It's a theory. That's the point, to be continually wrong and fail our way through. Like he just gets it. He just gets it.
Yeah. Oh, that was my biggest beef in school. When I first started dating my current partner back in 2017, one of the funniest things was our second joke. I was just saying outlandish shit because that's just who I was. And I was like something about, she's a nurse and she's wicked smart.
Really, Cass?
Oh my God. Like she could read something and know, like she passed the NCLEX and didn't study for it for nursing. Like she's book smart out the ass. Right. And I said, I'm like, yeah, I just don't believe in science. And she's like, what? I'm like, yeah, I think it's full of shit. And she was like, what are you talking about? That's like the dumbest thing I've ever heard. I go, no, everything I've ever been told was just a giant lie. It was like, you have to learn this. This is the way it is. You're not allowed to ask questions. This is a fact, yada, yada, yada. And then we watched this episode of Always Sunny. I don't know if anybody's an Always Sunny fan in here, but there's literally an episode where like the one character, Mac, talks about like, and science is wrong sometimes. And it's like, and he's a bitch. And it's like all this, it was like, that's me. And I realized it's because what you're saying and what Donald Hoffman talks about is like, no, the goal is to constantly prove things wrong and evolve through the science and the materials of it. Nothing is going to be right. It's going to continue to evolve. And that I was like, I believe in science now.
Yes, it's just like has to be framed. We're so used to science being like this hard rule and this is the way it is. And nobody likes to be told that ever. No. You want to, yeah.
I don't believe in science.
There's so many things that pop up of like, yeah, like the aliens. I mean, I could go down. I would love to live like that Paul Rosalie guy who lives in the rainforest, saving the jungle, studying the animals, finding bugs every day that nobody's found. Oh, man. Video games. I could play video. Oh, dude. It lives rent free in my head. Ben Stiller at the end of Dodgeball when he's the big fat guy playing in his basement, eating all the food, playing video games. I literally would be. That's me. I've definitely lived that life. Like, I fucking love video games, man. They're making a Lord of the Rings open world game. How the fuck am I not? Like, that is just so cool. Come on,
dude. And then with VR and stuff, VR is trippy. and all that stuff. Only a fool doesn't change their opinion as quick as the facts change. I agree. That's always just like, I think that's one of the greatest attributes a human being can have, is the ability to change their opinion with grace and always not speak from a place of this is fact for life. I think it's one of the best. Not best, but you know what I mean.
What a time. I love it. You never know what this stream's going to go, people. We were all over the place today. And this first part, we were talking more like spiritual path stuff and some shares, but we just kind of went with the flow and jammed out today on some topics. So what's everybody thinking for tomorrow? I was planning on doing it the same as the last week, what it was supposed to be, but then I had the Sunday thing with my mom. I was planning on doing Sunday this week, not Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday. So that's what I'm thinking as of now. Maybe we'll jump on tomorrow, but got to go through that course. Some of our dates are coming up. It's not like we're in a bad place at all, but I think sometimes I go, oh, we're good. But I'm like, no, I think I'm going to do some like extra playing in the sandbox tomorrow. I think of like trying to get, I want to, if I could get through the next, what is it? Body connection, purpose and connection modules by tomorrow. I would do a lot, but I think I might be able to pull it off after the Carcillo podcast, which will be a wicked one. So we'll set up when we do our Volpatti after the bell so that we can I have 3 podcasts filmed this week. Carcillo, Tristan Grant, super tough dude who's a girl dad, and he's definitely gonna be vulnerable. And then Ryan Schnell, who's a guy who like did a cup of coffee as a fighter, didn't play that long. I'm curious to see what he's up to now. He lives in Rochester, so like he's kind of a more like obscure guy, which like most guys you kind of know what they're doing now. Like it's gonna be interesting.
Oh, dude, hell yeah. No, I'm about it, brother. Well, everyone, thank you so much for allowing me to be in this space and welcoming me in as always. Gabe's, as always, welcome, and thank you. You're welcome. Thank you to you for allowing me in this space. And I just want to say, sending everybody so much love.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much for joining us. It's always a good time with somebody like you, because you're just talking to yourself. How can you not have a good time talking with just a beautiful mirror? Because he's so damn humble and he just gets it. He just gets it. I always forget you have a psychology degree too. It's fucking awesome, dude. It's fucking awesome. Okay, I'm gonna wrap up some of these Instagram comments, but you want to jump off or hang around for that, Ben? Totally up to you, brother. But Dave Weasel's just pumping in some things in here, which I want to answer. We got to get Dave Weasel on the kick. But everybody in kick, namaste, good night, Erica Lovely, appreciate you. Dana's loving that Laguda line. All right, I'm just gonna jump over here to finish up. I don't want to leave Dave Weasel hanging. Are you saying you got a ton of his pod aspirational things? No, I'm just totally manifesting that I will be on Pete Holmes' podcast. I do not have a personal line. If you do, Dave, and your connections, that'd be huge. I'm just getting in touch with my body instead of neglecting it. Thanks for having such a great guest. I followed him. Nice. Yeah, Ben's back on Sundays. He's on Sundays and Tuesdays. So those are when Ben's here. Monday, Wednesday, fly solo. And Ben's eventually going to be doing his late night show probably after this stream. So who the fuck knows what's going to happen. But all right, people, that's it. I love you. Throw on some Biggie again and we'll take it out.
In the Brooklyn basement, face it, not guilty. That's how I stay true. Richer than rich, so you niggas come and get.
Biggie, Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways. Guess that's why they're broken, you're so bad. Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes your words just hypnotize me. And I just love your flashy ways.